In LA this week,
mayors and elected leaders from several cities take a new bus service linking the San Fernando Valley to the San Gabriel Valley, while pushing for a half-cent sales tax increase in the fall. I'm Gil Reyes with the story next.
I'm Anna Marcos. Find out how police are honoring National Dispatchers Week coming up.
I'm Rasha. Goel. Up next, how the city is preparing Angelenos and the staff at LAX in case of an airplane accident.
hello and welcome to LA This Week. Thanks for joining us. I'm Yana Kay. Well, he may be gone, but the late former city leader Bill Rosendahl is not forgotten as friends, family, colleagues, and community members get together to remember his life. The former council member died last month after a long battle with cancer. Anna Marcos takes us to the farewell event in Mar Vista.
Jingle bell, jingle bell, jingle bell rock. Jingle bell swing and jingle bell ring.
Christmas carols in the springtime? Well, why not? This community celebration of the late and former council member Bill Rosendahl honored some of the things he loved the most, from Christmas carols to transgender choirs, to the beloved chickens he kept.
Probably the thing I enjoyed the most was visiting at his home and visiting his chickens. He had about 15 or 20 chickens in a coop in the backyard.
He loved music. He loved Christmas music. He used to talk about Motown Christmas music. But the man couldn't dance at all.
The former council member of the 11th District also loved all kinds of cultures and all kinds of people.
You couldn't be around the man without being infected by his big laugh and his big heart and his big voice and his gigantic presence.
Bill was somebody who said you always have to stand up for who you are. You know, he had to come out of the closet as a gay man, as somebody who was a veteran of this country, but then kind of was the first open gay man to be elected to our city council.
He touched many lives, helping all the constituents he could. Gay, lesbian, transgender, the poor, the rich, the homeless, veterans, anyone who asked for help. And that included the Mark Twain Middle School Children's Bell Choir, whom he helped raise money so they could play in the London Olympics in 2012. Councilmember Mike Bonin, his successor on the city council, and also his neighbor and longtime friend, helped organize the event.
Thank you for being here for this celebration of the incredibly large life, full-hearted life of Bill Rosendahl.
He actually would have said more precisely, great, 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 great.
Great, 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 great.
Those words a fitting farewell for Rosendahl's final community get-together. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Illegal dumping is disproportionately higher in South LA than other LA neighborhoods. That's according to one of the most detailed studies yet on trash littering our streets. Gil Reyes has more.
The latest study on Los Angeles litter finds 4% of city streets unacceptably dirty. For local leaders, that's too much.
And here's the thing, everybody who lives, works, or visits Los Angeles should be able to walk and drive on clean streets. That's been my vision and the vision of this city council.
Mayor Eric Garcetti announces the results of LA's first Clean Stat study, LA Sanitation's assessment of every single street and alley within city limits. They visited each one over several months and graded them on cleanliness. 61% of city streets were rated clean, 35% somewhat clean, and 4% unclean.
We will be the first city in the nation that will utilize metrics in the way that we are, the same way that makes us successful in fighting crime.
And then we'll be able to put the resources where the problems actually are.
Clean Stat finds slightly more than half of the dirtiest streets in Central, East, and South Los Angeles. Councilman Curran Price represents much of the area.
Although the tonnage is being reduced, it still is the largest amount, I think, coming out of the city. The 110 freeway, of course, runs right through the district.
Price believes many polluters are traveling on the 110 freeway and exiting in South Los Angeles, where they dump bulky items, construction debris, and other trash in these neighborhoods.
But we also need to hold those people accountable who continue to come into our city and dump and dump and dump. And we're saying enough is enough. We will hold those people accountable.
CleanStat will update cleanliness scores 4 times a year. For LA This Week, I'm Gil Reyes.
If you see illegal dumping, call 311. That's the city's helpline. And you can find out how your street rates compare to others by visiting cleanstreetsla.org. Well, more than 500 emergency response personnel recently took part in a drill at Los Angeles International Airport to help them better prepare for unexpected emergencies. Rasha Goel has more.
Yana, I'm here at LAX where the LAX Air exercise is being conducted to help with emergency preparedness in case of an aircraft accident. Now, if you look at my face, this is not how I normally come on camera, but I actually decided to get the makeup done, as did 150 other volunteers who came out to be a part of the experience to understand what it would feel like in case they were part of an airplane accident.
The plane crashed and I blacked out for a little bit, and I woke up and I found I had all these wounds. I had a broken arm.
Ron was among the volunteers participating in the LAX Air exercise. The drill is conducted once every 3 years and is mandated by the FAA to test the airport's emergency response procedures and overall preparedness in case of an aircraft accident or terrorist-related activity.
Maintaining readiness is something that our first responders must maintain. Constant vigilance. But it's not only our first responders who need to remain ready. All Angelenos need to think about this each and every day.
Today we are showing off the human capacity and the physical capacity of this airport. We're replacing and updating our aircraft rescue firefighting vehicles and our airport police fleet as well.
The LAX Air exercise took place on an adjacent restricted airfield near the Flight Path Learning Center and Museum. The scenario was unrehearsed and involved a jetliner crashing into a service truck on the runway that caused multiple injuries and fatalities. So how would responders react? Responders were expected to get help on the scene in 3 minutes.
The exercise today provides an opportunity to learn 3 critical lessons. The first one is to make sure that accident victims and first responders can protect themselves against the hazardous conditions that result from an accident like this. The second is that the training will better prepare first responders who need to protect the accident site for federal investigators who come here and eventually determine the cause of an accident and also make recommendations to make sure and to prevent future disasters from happening. The third is also to make sure that LAX airport staff ensure that the operation in uninvolved areas of the airport are not disrupted and things move here as swiftly as possible.
6 new aircraft rescue firefighting apparatus have recently been added and will give the airfield ARFF Station 80 additional capacity for carrying water and other firefighting agents, along with providing redundancy so firefighters can cover 2 emergencies simultaneously.
Our previous 4 apparatus cumulatively would arrive with 13,500 gallons, 13,500 gallons of water. Now, cumulatively, with all 6, we will bring 18,000 gallons of water to any emergency incident here at LAX.
The first responders participating in this drill are the ones who would actually respond to emergencies at LAX. As officials say, hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
The 2016 LAX Air exercise was a 2-hour unrehearsed drill involving representatives from Los Angeles World Airports, LA Police and Fire Departments, City Emergency Management Department, and other agencies. Well, Metro is testing the popularity of a new bus service linking the San Fernando Valley to the San Gabriel Valley. It could be permanent if people like it. Gil Reyes has more from North Hollywood. Gil.
Well, that is right, Yana. In case our viewers didn't know, there is a new bus service linking North Hollywood to Pasadena, and the entire trip takes a little bit less than an hour. And guess what? You don't have to do any of the driving.
The bus service from North Hollywood's Red Line station to Pasadena is a blessing for commuters like Jeff Jones.
The buses are new, it's easy, use your tap card, and the transfers make it quite inexpensive.
$2.50 per trip with free transfers. Express Line 501 opened in March as a 6-month pilot program. LA City Councilman Paul Krikorian hopes it's permanent. He's also asking voters to support a half-cent sales tax increase this fall to fund more transit-related improvements. Other elected leaders from the San Fernando Valley say they will support the tax, but only if the valley gets its fair cut this time. They say the last transportation tax, Measure R, shortchanged the valley.
I know that we have 18% of the population and we only receive 1% of all the funding. So we want it to be fair. We want our fair share this time around.
And I'm certainly going to be advocating for that. And I was able, along with Councilmember Krikorian and Mayor Garcetti and his other appointees to the board, to include the important valley projects in Measure R2.
Voter approval could fund a new rail or bus line on busy Van Nuys Boulevard. Also, a new rail line tunnel underneath the Sepulveda Pass.
And one of the important projects that we'll be investing in is actually extending the Orange Line bus rapid transit all the way through. So that will be the next step, building on this pilot program of the 501.
Express Line 501 runs 7 days a week with arrivals every 15 to 30 minutes. In North Hollywood, Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Metro officials say the new line averaged 500 riders a day in its first month. Well, they are the first responders when it comes to the city's biggest emergencies. But 911 call service center workers took time out from the job on National Dispatchers Week. Anna Marcos has more.
Whoever's got a gun, leave us alone!
Answering to the city's emergencies is a grueling job, and one that runs 24/7. On a given year, that's more than 4 million calls.
If it's preservation of life, prevention of crime, or a crime in progress, we consider those three things to be an emergency.
But LA's 911 dispatchers, or PSRs as they call themselves, police service representatives, are getting a little recognition and a little love on National Dispatchers Week.
You are the first point of contact, and you are sometimes our last point of contact. You are also the people that talk to folks when they are at their highest level of frustration.
2 dispatchers are getting singled out. One clinches the Supervisor of the Year award, while the other gets the PSR of the Year award. But some dispatchers take time to ask about lightening their workload.
I guess I'd like to talk about having serious talk about a compressed work schedule for us.
We have to be really cognizant of, fatigue and the fact that, all of those things, but there's no reason we can't work it out.
Several celebrities have also come to honor the PSRs. Among them, Kent McCord, a former actor in the TV show Adam 12. He says he could have never done his job on the show without the help of the LAPD's 911 dispatchers.
The heartbeat, where all of the calls come in to you, sits with you. And, it's an honor for me to stand here and thank you.
A little celebration, and then it's time to get back on the clock, helping Angelenos out in the most dire of emergencies. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
We hear even former talk show host Jay Leno came out to honor the LAPD's dispatchers. Well, the LAPD is on a mission to boost its ranks of volunteer reserve officers following recent spikes in crime. The reserve program allows everyday citizens with regular jobs to fulfill a secret desire to protect and serve. Gil Reyes has part 2 of our special report.
At 9 in the morning, Sammy Sue begins his workday, fixing computer problems at a high-profile environmental law firm. But ever since childhood, he's had a secret wish, to become a police officer. But this didn't sit well with his immigrant parents.
I'm Asian, and a lot of Asian communities, generally they don't necessarily see, or they don't necessarily encourage their kids to become police officers. Everybody wants them to become an attorney or a doctor. So that was never actually presented to me as a career path. When I first told my parents about joining the reserve program, they're like, "Why do you want to do that?" The great thing about it is you've already establish yourself in a certain career, but yet you're able to volunteer and participate as a police officer as well and give back to the community.
10 hours later, Sammy Sue has transformed from mild-mannered computer guy to armed and ready LAPD reservist. At 7 p.m. roll call at LAPD's Olympic Division, we meet other volunteers like him, like Omar Ricci, computer technician by day, lawman by night. He says being a civilian gives him an edge that most full-time cops don't have.
You're able to go out and apprehend bad guys. You're able to build trust in your communities as well. With so much happening in the nation and so much criticism in law enforcement, as reserve officers, I think we are in a special place to build that trust with our communities.
Tonight, 17 reservists join full-time officers for Operation Hide and Seek.
Why is it called hide and seek? We're seeking the bad guys. So the idea here is to be very visible for the 24-hour period and bring a lot of bad people to jail.
Sammy Sue's partner is 71-year-old Brent Carey. He retired from full-time policing in 2008 after 34 years on the force. He's been a reservist ever since. Lending his experience to younger officers is his favorite part. The pair head to Olympic and Vermont to patrol some of the area's darkest corners.
We're kind of a highly visible patrol, and when you have more officers on the street, some of the bad guys who are considering committing some kind of a crime are probably less likely to do it when they see the number of officers that are out here.
They make no arrests, but respond to a traffic collision, a noise complaint, and a couple of backup calls. Sammy Sue will end up going home at 3 in the morning.
If we do a full shift, it'll definitely be one of those like 18, 20-hour days.
All this without getting paid. To be clear, being a reserve officer is not for everyone.
But for us, it's rewarding, and it feels really good to give back to the community.
And to finally go home with a secret wish to protect and to serve fulfilled, at least for tonight. From the LAPD's Olympic Division, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
LAPD reservists are required to volunteer at least 16 hours a month. Sammy Sue says he often puts in many more hours than that because he loves policing so much. And by the way, his parents are now okay with his decision to join the reserves. Well, LA Mayor Eric Garcetti backs a plan to help get LAUSD students a college education. A new online tool highlights key statistics in the city, and nearly 200 trees breathe new life into the Vermont corridor. All these stories in City Beat. During his State of the City address, LA Mayor Eric Garcetti made a major announcement to get LAUSD high school students on a path to success.
Every hardworking student who graduates from LAUSD will receive 1 free year of community college.
Garcetti plans to raise $3 million from businesses and philanthropic communities, while local community colleges will cover the rest to pay for the 1 free year of attendance, which is set to begin in 2017. LA City Controller Ron Galperin released a new online dashboard that breaks down economic and demographic information by each council district within the city. Economy Panel enables residents, businesses, nonprofits, and policymakers to explore data such as which neighborhoods residents have the longest morning commutes, which residential area has the highest vacancy rate, which district has the oldest Angelenos, and where in the city are unemployed women most likely to live. Galperin said Economy Panel empowers Angelenos to make smarter and more informed decisions. The City of Los Angeles partnered with CAL FIRE, the Los Angeles Board of Education, local environmental community groups, and volunteers recently for a tree planting and environment community fair that distributed free trees to residents and planted more than 160 trees along Vermont Avenue in South Los Angeles in front of Lauren Miller Elementary School. Thanks to a grant, a total of 625 trees will be planted along the Vermont corridor, an area that has been lacking in greenery.
Not to mention the shade and the livability and the beautification of the neighborhood, all of which happens thanks to the trees.
I think tree planting is marvelous.
A new exhibit just might have some of you art lovers taking home a masterpiece or two. The Autry Museum of the American West recently held its annual gold medal exhibition. Anna Marcos takes us there.
A peek at a Native American sculpture, a new take on a toker's habit. It's all part of the fun and the art at the 105th Annual Gold Medal Exhibition put on by the California Art Club.
We paint everything from the great landscapes to urbanscapes to fantasy, allegory.
I am mostly a portrait artist. I try and capture the essence of somebody.
171 artists are on display at the Autry Museum of the American West for this exhibition, and many are hoping to sell their works of art.
Some of these works are several thousands of dollars. The price range varies. There's something here for most people at any price range.
This is my painting in back of you. I call it Dreaming of Cathay. It's a painting that I conjured up with some of our Meissen figure porcelain pieces. That represent the Far East and Asia.
As it got dark and the moon started to rise, I was painting and I noticed these eyeballs in the dark, but there was also kind of a mystery to that I couldn't tell exactly what it was that was watching.
Lots of art to choose from and lots of art lovers looking for a little something for their living room. This horse giraffe sculpture just might do the trick. I'm Anna Marcos for LA This Week.
Now, though Dodgers announcer Vin Scully is retiring soon, his legacy will continue long after his final inning. As Gil Reyes reports, the city dedicates Vin Scully Avenue to honor the beloved broadcaster.
Here it is for Vin Scully. Let's hear it. Let's go, Dodgers.
The road to Dodger Stadium is officially renamed. Call it Vin Scully Avenue from now on, a tribute to the Hall of Fame announcer.
I'd also like to thank all the members of the city council and the mayor, who's a terrific guy, and especially the Councilman Gil Cedillo, who, despite my no, overrode it, and here we are today.
Important to the city because, as Vin says, baseball is our bridge to the past and the bridge of all our communities and our generations. Vin Scully is also that same bridge. They're a bridge to the past and the bridge that brings together all our communities and all of the different generations.
Scully plans to retire this year after 67 seasons with the Dodgers. That's the longest a broadcaster has served a single team in the history of professional sports. Mayor Eric Garcetti, members of the LA City Council, and other fans stopped by Dodger Stadium for the renaming of what used to be Elysian Park Avenue. 88-year-old Vin Scully, a New York native, thanks God for a wonderful career and his wife for her patience.
The lonely days and nights that a wife has while her husband is working in the ballpark, or, for that matter, spending over 100 days on the road away from her. And if you are fortunate enough to have a wife without complaint, you have been blessed, and I have been blessed with Sandy.
And what will he miss the most about calling the games?
The roar of the crowd. That's what I'm going to miss. Which really is what I'm saying today. I don't know you, and I miss you, believe me, each and every one of you. You have been so kind and so gentle that, again, as I said in my opening remarks, I'm overwhelmed.
Reporting from Vin Scully Avenue in Chavez Ravine, I'm Gil Reyes for LA This Week.
Now, though some community groups had protested the name change, most people supported the switch. The new official address of Dodger Stadium is 1000 Vin Scully Avenue. Well, officials say a new international flight from LAX will contribute to the expanding relationship between Southern California and Latin America, while bringing more than $600 million annual to our local economy. Rasha Goel has more.
Yana, I'm here at LAX. It's an exciting day for Southwest Airlines, who is launching their first international route into Liberia, Costa Rica. Now, it's also going to be exciting for the customers who travel on Southwest because they're going to get to enjoy some of the amenities that they get to enjoy on the domestic routes.
Low fares with bags fly free, with no change fees for anybody on any fare.
Los Angeles is home to more Costa Ricans than anywhere outside of Costa Rica in the world.
In fact, we kind of like think of Los Angeles as a great Costa Rican city, so we're going to connect 2 Costa Rican cities with this flight.
The new route from LAX helps open a gateway for passengers who have family or for those who want to travel to Costa Rica, which is also known to be a surfer's haven. Alejandro Ramirez, a Southwest frequent flyer from Costa Rica, says it's a great option to have flights to Liberia, considering limited flights fly into that city.
Well, I'm personally extremely excited. This flight is to Liberia, Guanacaste. It's the northern Pacific province in Costa Rica. I grew up going there to surf when I was a kid, so it's near and dear to my heart. This is just another option down to Costa Rica, which is always exciting for us as a country.
Costa Rica is a beautiful island, and there's a lot of demand within the LA basin for service to Costa Rica.
The new route complements the changes happening at LAX's terminals to enhance the passenger experience.
The renovation, which is creating 1,500 construction jobs, includes the sleek-looking check-in lobbies like the first one you see here, with self-service kiosks so people aren't waiting out on the sidewalk, which is great. That helps speed up the check-in process. An expanded 12-lane TSA security screening area, and a fully automated checked luggage inspection system.
It's amazing. From LA to Liberia, Costa Rica, it doesn't get better than that.
A win-win for both passengers and Southwest Airlines. I'm Rasha Goel for LA This Week.
Southwest Airlines is also looking to expand routes into 50 other foreign cities. We'll help clean up a natural resource in our backyard, celebrating British contributions, and getting prepared for the next big one. All this in this week's Things to Do. Celebrate Earth Month by giving back to Mother Earth. Come down to the river for the Friends of the Los Angeles River's 27th annual Great Los Angeles River Cleanup. The urgent need stems from the dramatic El Nino showers that swept through the watershed, washing trash from surrounding areas into the channel. The nation's largest urban river cleanup will host 15 sites over 3 weekends. Make a difference by coming out Saturday, April 30th from 9 to noon. For more details on locations, visit folar.org. A week-long celebration of all things British, from Shakespeare to rugby and everything in between, is an annual event in Los Angeles. The fest includes lectures, parties, performances, and more. Brit Week highlights British relationships and contributions. In honor of the 400th anniversary of William Shakespeare's death, Shakespeare Youth Festival LA 2016 will feature 4 Shakespeare plays performed by an ensemble of players ages 6 through 17. Performances and events will take place Saturday, April 30th and Sunday, May 1st. For more, visit Britweek.org. Get ready for the next big one by taking part in an earthquake drill. The City of Los Angeles' Emergency Management Department and the United Neighborhoods Neighborhood Council are conducting a neighborhood disaster exercise as part of America's Preparathon. This full-scale exercise will simulate a large earthquake, requiring members of the community to actively engage with the scenario, playing the roles of civilian community responders and/or injured survivors. Participate or just come watch on Saturday, April 30th in the historical West Adams district of South Los Angeles. To register, visit 5steps.la. And that's a look at some things to do. Well, that's going to do it for this edition. I'm Yana Kay, and from all of us here at LA This Week, thanks for joining us. A reminder that you can catch us online at lacityview.org. You can also follow and like us on Facebook. We'll see you back here next week for more of LA This Week.